Hey y'all, it's your girl Tosh, and welcome to Crafted Marketing.
If you love crafting, designing in Canva and Cricut, you're in the right place. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a tutorial. Let's create together.
In today's premiere video, I'm so excited because we are going to learn how to make this easy, beginner-friendly craft candy bouquets. All right, so the first thing we're going to need is supplies. So I grabbed my cheat sheet, which is for my candy bouquets, and it tells me exactly what I need for my project. So starting with, obviously you're gonna need some candy. So we got some different types of Valentine candy. For this bouquet, we're going to make a larger bouquet, and it's going to have 16 pieces of candy. You also are going to need a base. So I have a piece of cardstock from a cardstock pack that I had laying around. You're going to need a styrofoam cone, some bamboo skewers, crinkle paper to put inside of your bouquet, and of course, 4 large boxes of candy. Make sure they are all around the same height because you don't want to have like a mismatch. And of course, you are going to need some balloons. 8 or a 10-inch balloon works. I have some hot glue in my hot glue gun. I've got some Valentine's Day ribbon that I picked up at the craft store. I've got a Valentine themed pick. And then I also have some extras. I have some craft glue, a little paintbrush because that's what I use to apply my glue, scissors, and of course a pencil. So that is all the supplies that you will need to make this candy bouquet. So let's start. The first thing that I like to do is go ahead and get the base put together. So for that, we're going to need our cardstock and our 4 boxes of candy. And I like around Valentine's Day, they have these nice Sour Patch hearts. I also found the sours in the black as well, but I didn't see any when I went to the store today. Then I'm going to add a box of, I'm going to mix this one up. So I'm going to use hearts, some Swedish fish, and nerds because they're all, as you can see, around the same height and the same width. So that's a bonus. All right. So I'm just going to open up my craft glue here. And I use Barely Art craft glue for this, but you can use any other glue. You can use Elmer's glue, tacky glue. And I'm just going to start by going to look for the bottom, which doesn't really have much on it. This is the part that, yes, they would open, but I'm going to use the part that says nerds on the top instead. And I'm actually just going to start gluing my box. Okay. And I'm going to glue it to the very corner of my cardstock here. I will show you right there. Got one. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'll do the same thing, look for the part that doesn't really have a whole lot to offer. And just add some glue. And I'm going to glue it right to the edge. Right to the edge. So I just got some Scotch tape. You can also take double-sided tape if you want and do this. I'm just going to use my Scotch tape for now. And I'm just going to tape the top 2 pieces together like that. All right. And then next, I'll just go and I'll add my Sour Patch. Now this time, I'm not going to put it on the inside. I'm going to put it to match it to the outside. And I'll show you that when I turn it around. Again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to grab a little piece of clear tape. Way they're stuck together nice and neat. And then I'm going to add the last box. Again, just make sure that it matches up. And I love making these because the kids love them, and seeing, people give them as gifts. Perfect for your loved one, or if you do it as like a family gift as well. But I think it's super easy to make, and it really pops once you put everything together. Okay, so now that we've got all 4 sides, I wanted to kind of show you here. What I'm going to do next is we are going to cut this, okay? I'm just going to draw like a little, use my pencil, I'm just going to draw a square here. I know where to cut. I'm going to use my scissors, and I'm just going to cut right on the very edge of this. Now you can pre-cut it too before you glue, completely up to you. But I just go ahead and do it this way. And out aside. And now I have my base, and it's got cool cardstock on the bottom, and everything is now stuck together nice and neat. Okay. So next what we're going to do is we're going to add our cone. So for this part of it, I am going to use hot glue, but again, you can use double-sided tape if you have it. And I'm just going to, now my hot glue gun is dual temp, and I use the low temperature setting. If you just have a normal hot gun and it only does one setting, don't worry, that's fine. But I try not to use the high temp because it tends to melt the glue really good, and it's also really hot. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to insert this and stick it all the way into the bottom. Okay. Just like that. And this is just so it stays in place and it's very sturdy. But as you can see with the fluorofoam, the cone, it's all right. And there you go. Now you have your base made. So that was pretty quick and easy. I'll put this over here to the side. And so the next thing we're going to do is make our bamboo skewers with our candy. Now when I make these, I like to have skewers of different size. I'm going to use about, I end up using 5 long ones. That way they stick out in the back, kind of do like a fan spread out. And then I'll do 3 small in the front, maybe 4, we'll see. So now's the fun. You get to start gluing the candy. So again, this is why I use a dual temp heat gun with the low temp, because I don't want it to melt the wrapper on the candy. I'm just going to take one of my bamboo skewers. First, I'm going to draw a little line here. And then I'm just going to stick, but I like to roll it around a little bit, so that way it gets stuck right on there. And then you do want to give these time to dry, so I make all of my skewers first. And this is also a fun one to do with your kids. So you want to make your own, candy bouquet. Have the kids join in on the fun. All right, now with the candy that has like the flap, I like to take advantage of the flap, and I'll just put a little bit of glue inside, and then I will do like a little roll over here. That way it kind of glues together. And you can't really. Now I do like to look at the candy to see, how's it gonna look when I put it on there? Is it gonna be facing upwards, sideways? Because you do want a little bit of symmetry as you're doing this, but it doesn't have to be perfect. Remember, the person that's getting it, they're gonna appreciate, all the delicious treats that you gave them anyway. Skittles has the little hearts on it. I think that's pretty cool. All right, put the glue there, and what I've noticed too, the lower temp glue, it actually bonds faster than the high temp one. The high temp tends to stay liquidy a little bit longer before it starts to bond up. Let's start adding to the 5. So for this one, I'm going to look for something small. I have like a fruit roll up. Again, take advantage of the flap, and then snap it over like that. And again, this one has the flap. Now, when you're advertising for these, make sure that you take a photo of your finished product. Even if all you do is put one candy bouquet together, you don't have to make like 10 or 20 of them. Just make one and then take a photo and start putting it out there. I do a lot of business on Facebook Marketplace or in local community groups. If you're having to do like a Valentine's pop-up shop, then I would actually make several of them. That way you do hopefully sell out. And I've done the pop-up shop before where I've just had candy bouquets, different sizes, whether it's the small one or the bigger one that we're making today. Again, taking advantage of that little flap and then just folding it over. All right, for this one, I think we'll go with the Twix to put under there. All right, so we've got the 5 big ones, so we're letting those dry. Now let's look at doing some smaller ones. Maybe I'll do another one, the ring pop on top. Or actually, I'm going to cut this now. Here's how I do it. You want to know the sizing. If you cut it too low, it's not going to show, right? So I'm only going to cut maybe about 1.5 inches off of this. Oops. We'll catch that later. And I'll do a third one. There we go. All right. Now I still have like 3 pieces of candy left. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to make 2 more skewers. I'm going to do another one that's, we'll do like different heights. So actually we'll do 3. So I used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 11 skewers total, but you don't have to use this many. You can, I would say definitely at least 8 to 10 skewers for your bouquet. So this one I'm going to cut just a little bit lower, so maybe about 2.5 inches. And it's not rocket science, so you don't have to, keep eyeballing. You can eyeball it. Okay, look at that, eyeball. Same thing. All right. And again, just going to finish gluing these back on. Doesn't matter where you start. It's up to you, unless you wanted to have a specific front. So I'm going to start here. That way I can look at it and see it. But again, that's completely up to you which way you want to start it. And then I'm going to take my tallest skewers for this. And then I'm just going to start sticking them into the foam. So if you want to do maybe one in the top, I think that'll look fine, because it'll kind of serve as like your center anchor. But you don't have to stick it down very far, because remember, you want the big bouquet to kind of like fan out. So it takes a little bit of practice. If you have to pull them out and rearrange them, that's fine. Just try not to have too many holes in there, because sometimes it can, it'll make them like fall. And I'll show you what mine looks like. So I am big on symmetry and that it looks presentable. So there you go. Then I think I'll do like a ring pop on each side here. And now we just finish touching it up by adding the rest of our candy. Now remember, we have candy that's 2 different heights. So your small piece needs to be in the front, kind of like you're stacking them. I would take all of my like similar sizes and just start putting them in. And it's okay too if like you have pieces and you're like, oh my gosh, I actually got like the same piece of candy there. That's fine. I mean, they're not gonna like, nobody's grading you on how you did this. So there it is. There's your candy bouquet, right? So it's fanned out. I probably could have put this you know, maybe more on that side or maybe use more. But again, nobody's grading you. So now, if you have picks, I would look for a cute place to put like your Valentine pick in there. Yeah, so I just play around with it to see where it should go. Okay, so I've got my pick in there, nice and neat. All right, and then you're gonna take some of your crinkle paper that you have. You don't have to use a lot, but this is the fun part. This is where I just start stuffing it down inside. And it's okay if it comes out, because that's the fun part about doing these bouquets, right? Now the ribbon is completely optional. You don't have to put a ribbon on there, but I'm gonna do one on this. So, okay, so this is just floral wire. I did happen to get it in red, which they usually sell around Christmas time, but you're gonna need a piece of floral wire. Or if you have a pipe cleaner, you can use that as well. Or even like a little piece of ribbon, but I just cut like a little piece of the floral wire. Okay. So again, I'm measuring from the top of my palm, and the last time I did halfway to my wrist, so I think I'm just gonna come a little bit shorter right here. Okay. Now I'm going to fold it, and I'll do it 10 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right. I'm gonna take my scissors. I'm just going to give it a nice little cut. And there's my ribbon. Again, completely optional. You don't have to do it. You can also buy a pre-made bow if you want and slap it on there. I just like to make my own bows. All right, so now I'm gonna fold it so I can figure out where the middle is. All right, once I have the middle, I'm gonna take my scissors and I am going to cut. Do not cut it all the way through, only cut it like halfway. You can see, like halfway. And I'm gonna do the same thing on the opposite side. Again, don't cut it all the way through, right? Now, then I'm gonna take my little piece of floral wire and I'm going to insert it through the cut area on both sides. And then I'm just going to give it a nice little twist there. And then I like to wrap mine around more than one time. That way it's nice and tight. All right. Now, and I will finish by giving it another twist. There we go. Okay. And then you also have a nice little end piece so you can tie it, and I'll show you. All right. This is the fun part. So you have your bow ready to go. You're going to start with the inside and you're going to pull out a piece and then you're going to fold it backwards. So right where that crease is in the middle, I'm going to fold it backwards. And I like to make sure I pull it all out. So give it a nice little tug. And this is when you'll know if you actually cut through, because it'll like fall right off. I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side. And I'm going to bring it all the way to the back. So it's all the way back there. Now, the next thing, I'm going to go to the next side and I'm going to pull it all the way forward. So I went back the first time. This time I'm going to go forward. I'm going to pull it out and go forward all the way. And then on the same side, I'm going to go forward again. Well, opposite side, I'm gonna go forward again. And then with the last two pieces, I'm gonna go opposite again. So I'll go back, and then you can't really go backwards on the other piece because that's the end of it. But I do like to make sure that everything is disconnected. Well, not disconnected, but it's all completely out. And now I have my loop. Then I'm going to flip it over to the side that is still together and flat. And I'm going to do the same process. I'm going to start with the inside. This side I'm going to do opposite side. So I'll go to the right side instead of the left. And then I'm going to pull it forward this time. I did forward. And again, there's no right or wrong way to do it. That's just my personal preference. And then again, opposite side. And this is a really fun way to teach your kids how to make bows without going out and buying like an expensive bow maker, especially if you see ribbon that you really think is just very pretty and you want to make your own bows. And so like this one is beautiful. It's got the hearts, says Happy Valentine's Day, and it's glittery. I just absolutely fell in love with it, so I had to buy it. All right, so we've got most of our bow pulled out. Now, you will notice that your very first piece when you started, this is the piece that was flat right here. It's out now. That's perfectly fine because you have your two flat pieces. And so what I do with these is I'll just go ahead and put them together. And then I will fold them in half. And then we're going to make like a triangle cut. Now with my scissors, have them lined up, and I'll just make a nice triangle cut like that. So now you see. All right. Okay, so I'll find my ends here, but first I want to like fluff my bow. So I'm just going to go through and I'm going to use my fingers to like spread it out. So throughout the whole bow, I'll just go through and I'll spread my pieces out. And this kind of shows you, you know, how your bow is going to look on your candy bouquet as well. So what I'll do next is I'm just going to go and I'll use my two pieces of wire that I have. And I'm just going to tie it and add it to my bouquet, to one of the bamboo skewers. Now, I'll probably get it somewhere in here. And I just pick one. It doesn't, you know, wherever you think it looks good, just pick one and then give it a little twist in your wire ribbon so that way it stays. I'm going to show you. All right, so I've got it on there, and so I'm just going to take my two pieces. I'm going to twist it together. All right, so like this one, if you look, I put it lower, but on this one, it's actually a little bit higher. Again, you can change it if you want to. And so the difference with these two is that this one has a smaller balloon, and this one we're actually going to put a larger balloon on it. I cheated a little bit for the video and I blew up a balloon already. And so for this one, I'm going to add a large balloon. And so the easiest way to do this is just add your string and then use your string to tie it around. So I'm going to bring it probably around here because I want it to look like it's actually a part of the bouquet, not like up here in the air, but I want it to be a part of it. So once I get it to a good height, I take my string and then I just start intertwining it with the bamboo skewers. And then I will wrap it around a few times. And that way it is on there. And I'm gonna see how that looks. Now another thing that you can do is you can take a piece of tape, or you can take a like piece of double-sided tape, and to keep your balloon from moving, you can stick it to like a piece of the candy, and then like right around here, and you can take and tape your balloon. All right, and there it is. So that is it. Pretty easy. You have a small one you can make or a larger one. So let's talk pricing real quick. So I would actually say that depending on what you're putting with your bouquets, your small bouquet is probably somewhere between $25 to $30, and your larger bouquet is anywhere from $30 to $40, just depending on how much candy you're adding. If you bundle it with a really big balloon, or you have more than one balloon, that is where I would go, because if you add up all of your supply costs and your expenses, you can make multiple bouquets. And if you're going somewhere like the Dollar Tree or Dollar General, you can probably get the Valentine's Day candy for pretty cheap. But that's it, y'all. I just want to say thank you for watching. This is our premiere video for Crafted Marketing. I hope you stick with us, because we're going to be doing a lot more videos and teaching you not only how to make custom crafts, but also how to design in Canva, how to use Cricut, how to use Design Space, and also how to use AI as a assistant, a tool, and leveraging some really good prompts. I'm really excited to start this channel. It has been about a few years in the making, and to have the time now to pour back into our craft community is just something that I've been truly wanting to do. And I'm grateful for those of you who have already followed me and who are ready to get crafting. So I'm excited, and let's have fun learning how to design, create, and sell our craft.